First, I just want to say that if you are a Hillary supporter and trying to figure out what your options are now that she's been pushed out of the race, there's a couple of really good sites that you want to check out. Real grassroots movements, which have sort of sprung up. I'll have links to them on the side of this video. One of them is called Clinton for McCain, and the other one is No Deal, I believe. But the links will be on the side, and check them out. It's just a collection of different individual organizations that have sort of come together, and they said that they have like over 2 million people now, and their sole mission is to keep Obama out of the White House, along with just about everyone else that isn't one of his culties. So you just want to go by there and check them out. I thought I would do this video dedicated solely to sort of calling Obama and his culties on their madness. When called upon, usually, especially during the primary, nobody, whether they were just his crazed fans or his surrogates, could give you a reason why they were supporting him. It was always, he's so inspiring, he's so inspirational, that same rhetoric. But you look back, and the thing that he usually cites, or that wife of his cites, or when they do bring up something, they bring up the great speech, his anti-war speech, and then they will cite his community services in Chicago. There's a video that's I added to my favorites. It features Michelle Obama, which you should definitely check out because it really shows the sort of Marxist, fascist, communist ideals that these two have, and really, I believe their ultimate goal for this country, especially Michelle. I really think she is the worst out of the two of them. But in that video, she was citing, Obama, he had a choice to make after he graduated from law school. He could either have gone into the big business world, but, he chose to go and give back to the community. And so he went to the south side of Chicago and started this community outreach program. And she cited his helping poor women to find their voice and empower themselves. But what she was really talking about is, it's essentially his community service, his activism consisted really of just voter registration. I mean, that was how they, were telling these people they were going to change their lives by voting. And in essence, what he was doing was building a voter base so that he would have people that would vote for him. And of course they did, because he got into the state senate there. But you notice once in, what did he do for these people? Other than avoid any kind of controversial bill that came across his desks, to avoid any kind of record that would, give a glimpse into his stance on issues, and to avoid anything that would be used against him as he continued his political climb. He also mentioned in an interview I saw a couple of months ago, they were asking him about records that had to do with his time in the Illinois Senate. And he said, we don't have those records. They were somehow mysteriously lost or misplaced, or we didn't feel the need to keep them. I mean, do you sense that there is some kind of, trail being just sort of covered over? Anything that would provide a glimpse into this guy's history. It's just they wanted to keep him a blank slate. So there would be nothing to be used against him, but it also means that he has nothing to cite as to why he should be the president. There was this woman on MSNBC on Dan Abrams' panel, and there was two people who were for Obama and two people for McCain. And one of the women was citing about this latest stuff with Michelle Obama and the Whitey comment and whatever, and she was saying, oh, just get over it. People don't care about that. The voters care about issues, and they don't want to deal with all this personal stuff. And I thought, what? I mean, since when did Obama and his culties care about issues? Because all during the primary, what did you hear? It was all these sweeping crowds who were coming out to see him, and his endless chants of, blah, blah, hope, blah, blah, change, blah, blah, turn the page. I mean, yeah, that's like real meat and potatoes issues there, right? I mean, but the thing is, since he has no record, then the only thing that we have to judge him on, then, therefore, is his personal life and relationships. Then that makes it an issue. I mean, even when he, got into the Senate in Washington, there again, he was in there for, I think, a year and a half before he declared he was going to run. And if he declared after a year and a half of being in there, he was doing the behind-the-scenes work, preparing to run from probably the second he stepped foot in Washington. And again, he hadn't really passed anything, any kind of substantial bills, wasn't tied to anything. And the one thing, he was in charge of that committee. I forgot what it was. It had something to do with the war. But it's that thing where they said he never even held one meeting on the one thing he was asked to do. I mean, the guy does not do anything but run from one office to the next as fast as he can. And, so going back to the one thing we have to look to judge him on, which are his, personal relationships and how he's dealt with that, well, he is royally, fucked up there, hasn't he? And it's like every personal relationship we know about has been bad. This latest thing with Tony Rezko, who had, I think he'd just been convicted in his trial. And of course, when asked about it, Obama was yet again, this isn't the man I knew. This is becoming a standard line with him. Well, my 20-year association with my reverend, that's just not the man I knew. It's like everybody in his life. I keep waiting for him to say that about his wife, because I'm telling you, that woman is evil. See, I know Obama's goal is to hop, skip, and jump his way to power, and that's really, I think, why he went to that church, Trinity. There was that black lady, that anchor on MSNBC. She's got really short hair, very attractive, and even she commented on the fact that when she started out in her career, she moved to Chicago, and she was told by friends, when you move there, go to this church, get yourself integrated there, because this is where anybody who is anybody in that town goes. And she said this, it was a place to network. They weren't going there for religious enlightenment, at least those people. They were going there to, get ahead. And so that's, I think, what Obama wanted. I still think he personally had some issues. I still think he does with, whites and whatever. But I think his wife was going there before he was. And I don't think that she was there trying to climb up the political ladder. I think she was going there because now she really did agree with their philosophy, their doctrine. And you can't tell me, he says, well, if I had only known, I would have left the church or whatever. There is no way, that a decent human being, let alone mother, is going to take their kids to this kind of church, unless they agree with what the church is teaching. So she has this, and when you listen to her, it comes out a little bit with him, with comments like typical whitey, and the people in Pennsylvania are a bunch of racists because they don't vote for me. But with her, when you listen to some of her speeches, it really comes out of her, and she hasn't trained herself on how to restrict what she says, so it does come out. But there's, so much more to the two of these that we haven't yet seen. I think it's gonna start coming out more and more now that they don't have the protective shield of the DNC and the liberal media to beat down anybody that's in the party, because they're not dealing with the Democratic Party right now. It's the Republicans on their ass. And I can't wait to see, them basically destroyed during this general election. It should be good.